Alright, I guess there's not gonna be game sound because I can't even hear it over the French people, but wow, this game looks really weird. But okay. So I guess it's like a reasonable size. Maybe it's got a necropolis. Okay. So I'm guessing this is the orc headquarters, probably. It doesn't look terribly human. And this looks human enough. So we got peons mining. What are the peons for the orcs? What is this? This is like, it's got one person moving. So this is already kind of weird. I expected to see a lot more people shuffling around Harstem's base. But it's okay. He's got some like ritualistic shrines, and there's a lot of peons actually here for Stephano. Oh god, the game's in French as well. All right, he's got Militian, and he's taking out a golem. So my only assumption is that this provides some sort of buffer access to some level of resources. It's kind of a neat little net trap he's got on these guys. Yeah. And it looks like his hero is Lightbinder. Which is basically just some old dude on a horse. Which I guess is okay. But right, well he's actually, I don't know, I feel like Stephano just has a lot of stuff. They don't have both players' food displayed next to each other, but Stephano's at 23 supply. He's got a pretty reasonable amount of gold. And Harstem's actually supply blocked at 20. He's actually just on supply blocked himself, but it looks like he's sending out one of his heroes to scout with. And he's Lord Darkhollow. So Stephano already seems like he's being very active on the map, and he's kind of just pursuing whatever gold or resource buffs he can get, which I feel like is probably a good thing to do. He's his champion or hero or whatever is getting a pretty low in health, but it's like a little raiding party from Harstem is coming up to his base. He's got two squires, and Stephano's taking some pokes. So it looks like he's trying to just kill off peons. These units do damage a lot more slowly than in StarCraft. Stephano's trying to head him off. Hit him with a little bit of power. And I think he might actually catch off the militia forces. He already picked off one of the militants for Harstem, but he just randomly clicks on an acolyte. I assume it's some sort of scouting tool that he's leaving it in the middle to see where Stephano positions himself, moving across the map. And this is weird. Again, not just going off of the video feed from the French stream because these guys are playing Lance. There's absolutely no delay at all, which the idea of that sounds really cool. He is trying to get some peon harass on his hero, which is kind of neat. He's taking pretty significant amount of damage, but at the same time, he's still actually splitting off some of his forces to go for that buff on the northwest. So Stephano is being very aggressive about taking these buffs, and Harstem just seems to be going for a little bit of harass while just mining at home. So he's already secured actually he's already secured whatever this is. I assume you just get resources for beating this, for killing these guys off. But it's also leveling up his Archmage. Or Archmage. And this is going to make it harder and harder for Harstem to actually take fights later on. He's got some giant spiders chilling with his guy. Stephano's adding on a couple of towers. I assume there's some level of defensive, static defense. And we've got the green crystals of hell or something building in Harstem's base. There's little sheep. And I kind of like this. He's giving some chase across the water. I'm wondering how far Stephano's willing to extend himself. He's at 29 supply right now compared to Harstem's... Stephano's at 36 compared to Harstem's 29. So he still has a supply lead, or at least a food lead. And Harstem just seems like he's in pushback for the most part now. I think those areas he's just secured gold resources of some kind, but All right. Doesn't okay. So what he did was he built also built like a market or some kind of resource storage hole next to the gold. I think you only need about like 5 peons or something to harvest a gold. It's a little tip a birdie gave me, but he's fighting these golems. Harstem's now trying to get a little bit more of the map, the neutral monster kills, but yeah, Stephano. I feel like since he's already basically got 2 bases, two camps set up, I feel like this has got to put him in a nice spot. He's consistently had a higher supply count pretty much the entire game. And he has his Saldes Arcanes, which is probably one of the worst butchering of the name of that has ever been heard. And well, this seems relatively slow. Stephano's got a little bit of a raiding party out here. 5 Fantassins heading towards the northeast. He's trying to find something to harass. He's actually hitting from the south side, and he might try to come up from the north as well. I feel like he's just distracting him so that he can maybe run in and try to kill some of the peons, the orc peons, if they even have some. I don't really see much of anything moving around here. There's just like these 6 elders around the nexus or whatever for him, but he's actually going to go try to kill them. The acolytes, I assume. His catacombs are almost halfway done. As soon as it's actually taken so long to build, this must be like the most powerful thing in the world. But a couple of these, I guess his own militia are going to try to hold off those militant raiders. He's actually managed to capture a couple of these units with like the net things. He's slowing them down. I feel like he's fighting Stephano and some neutral creeps at the same time, which is making things a little bit more difficult for Harstem. But Stephano is also trying to just get his steal off, I imagine, with this. Oh, his hero actually gets picked off. So that's a really nice grab for Harstem. Look at that head shake from Harstem. Wow. I think the observer just called everyone a noob as well. So Harstem getting the kill off on Stephano's hero is actually really nice. I don't know what the respawn timer is, but that's definitely a huge win. He might even take out the elemental. Still managing to be able to slip some peons in back through the back. So Stephano's actually doing a pretty good job of still managing to harass the acolytes, as it were. And that catacomb is actually a really sick static defense, it seems. Stephano's adding on a few more castles to produce these fantasses with. His production seems pretty stable. He's got a lot of wood, pretty low on gold. And supply-wise, it looks like Stephano, trying to see, he's at 40, Stephano's at 40 supply, and Harstem is at 38. So Stephano's still managing to hold a very slight edge in the food count. He's definitely got more income until he takes at least another base, I'd have to say. And he comes up to the northeast. Neutral creeps, being a pain. He's left some sort of obsidian statue. And Stephano's actually taking another base in the south, it looks like. Or at least he could. There's a whole other setup of gold here. And his Archmage is back. So his is level 4. I think Harstem's was still level 3 last I looked at it. But he's taking that area. Yep. Still level 3. And now he's actually starting to move down. And yeah, Stephano's throwing up a couple more resource gathering buildings outside of that bottom gold base. So he's just getting ready to just start. I feel, since there's no actual outer bases set up for Harstem, obtain a bit more. We'll see. And Stephano's actually moving out a lot of forces on the right side. He's got a couple of his Fantassins with his water elemental. And he's actually got his heroes here outside of the main base. Just getting slowed down a little bit by these creeps. But he's just going in. He's just harassing the crap out of Harstem's main. He's just trying to poke around as much as possible. He's managed to pick off a few of what I imagine were these orc peons. There's a lot of these giant spider thingies still coming back to defend against. And Stephano, well, I mean, most of his forces are kind of trapped in here. But I think the hero for Stephanos manages to escape. Just barely. But he might go for the big counterattack. Harstem looking very eager to continue onward. And Stephano actually still has his hero here. He can still harass. Engagement going down in the center, but nothing really crazy. Basically just a peon soldier of Stephano getting picked off. The water elemental here to harass once again. These mining skeletons, as they were. And you might be able to pick off one or two. Gets one kill. Pretty nice. Stephano's hero seems to be caught back though, having a bit of trouble at catacombs. Is basically the feels like the photon overcharged level defense, but 2 water elementals actually just chilling in his base, picking off these acolytes, which is quite nice. I feel like these are these resource gatherers for him. And Stephano still has his 3 base setup. He has a lot of towers set up to defend his bases as well. A reasonable SimCity to prevent melee units from getting up close. And there's not really too many more acolytes available for Harstem. He's at 57 supply, Stephano. And what supply is Harstem at? Let's see. 42. So Stephano definitely has an advantage in this game. He's got to be feeling pretty good about that. He does have a new economic setup, as it were, in the north. And it looks like his buildings actually spread some form of map-dominating substance akin to creep. Yeah, wow, the map's actually just like getting darker around all of his buildings. That's weird. So, Stephano harassing this with his Phantassin. A couple more actually getting caught out. But nothing super crazy just yet. I feel like Stephano's just slowly getting just more and more. He's had like these 3 bases or these 3 mining camps for so long. I feel like it'd be hard for him to not have a lead. And he's actually looking to take another camp in the north, or I guess in the center, just like the dead center of the map, really, a bit west of the center. He's fighting the forest troll. And he's secured this base. This will be a little bit harder to hold, I imagine. It's much closer, of course, to the center, which means easier to attack. There's a random chest of gold. But Stephano has a really big force. And he's moving around the bottom while Harstem tries to push across the center. This could get weird. Are you gonna have some sort of awkward base trade? Harstem comes over. He's actually looks like he's basically countering this center base that Stephano wanted to take. But Stephano will kill off this goldish base in the southeast, and he could try to secure it for himself. But I still feel like this is a really awkward situation because Harstem is right outside of his base, and the army for Stephano is so far away. He's still clearing this out, and now the attack is hitting, and Stephano's going to be like, okay, what does he do here? His first castle's under attack. He's got a couple of Phantasins in production, but on their own aren't really going to be able to do too much against this. And he's starting to throw up a base, but Stephano still has, and there's still enemies killing his stuff in his base. And where is Stephano's army going to go? He split off a few units towards the main of Harstem, and he's actually he's sending everything to the main base of Harstem. So this game is going to get weird, I guess. He does have a couple turrets, I think, in the north to defend against that base. But maybe he feels okay with that, so he's lost his first castle. And here comes the big counterattack pretty much the entire army of Stephano. He's sending a couple units for the north base as well, but can't really break that just yet. And he's just going to try to kill off the acolytes. Shut down anything else that Harstem has going inside of his main base. And this is it. His whole army basically just duking it out here while his main gets attacked. And Stephano has that base in the southeast now too. So this game's gotten weird. But it looks like Stephano's actually held off the army that was in his base using just reinforcements. Unless there's some sort of recall ability I don't know of. But this last harassing spider thing should die. And I feel like this is a really good position for Harstem. Excuse me, for Stephano. Just about. Harstem's at 42 supply to 62. And I guess they're chatting. Harstem's webcam is actually over the chat, so I can't see what either player says to each other, sadly. But Harstem's looking like he's enjoying himself quite a bit. And I guess Stephano's just healing up that aura over his warriors. He's actually got a lot of peons, just so I'm mining that gold. And Harstem, I feel he's like, well, where can I really harass him next? Nowhere in the center area, even though that base was cleared out. And Stephano's gonna go for another fight off this next forest troll. Couple of Maggie ogres. He's gonna leave his main workers to fight that. Well, I think he's moving out his hero to get a little bit more scouting information. Harstem, on the other hand, is taking the center north camp. Wants to secure that. I like that Stephano's left one unit out in front to kind of scout, see if anything's coming towards his army. But there is nothing coming. And Stephano has cleared out this northwest base. So, looking to see him get some other sort of setup here. But Harstem's actually starting to move a bit closer to that northwest base. So I feel like Stephano needs to be a bit careful. Despite having that supply lead. Harstem's now at 50. Stephano at 63. But Stephano just seems to have more bases. He's got a lot of space cleared out. And yeah, I guess he's in between the bases, but the workers don't really need to go outside of those camp areas. Now he's coming up. He's seeing all these towers that are being placed. The turrets are being produced in Stephano. What's he going to do? He's not moving back. He wants to attack the north base and just try to pick this off, it seems, of Harstem. And these turrets are doing everything possible to defend, but I'm wondering just how much damage Stephano can really do here. It looks like he's going to pick off two of the turrets of these orc turrets, or undead. I feel like he's playing undead, but no, yeah, there's only one turret left. But he's actually just trying to focus down I guess the hatchery type building that's been spreading this defiling presence, and he will destroy it. Stephano immediately triggering some sort of pentagram. I guess that's his recall. So yeah, now he's back at his arcane sanctuary. And I feel like this is a good spot for Stephano. 55 supply for Harstem, 50 for Stephano. He's down on supply for the first time in this game. So I imagine he's just trying to defend himself just long enough to recover just after dealing that damage. He does want to take this northwest base. The turrets stand strong. He's rebuilding the base in the north. Getting a new necropolis. And Harstem seems like he really wants to attack this northwest base, but Stephano has a lot of units here to defend. He's been holding on pretty solidly so far. And Harstem's actually been pushed back, at least for now. Can't do too much here. And Stephano still has, still has other bases like that base in the southeast mining gold. So I feel like income-wise, Stephano is definitely doing well. But it's become very clear to me that I have absolutely no idea how the hell the income works for the undead or whatever Harstem's playing. Because I feel like he's just had one or two bases for about forever now. And Stephano's throwing up a lot of turrets trying to keep this northwest base alive. I feel like he's really, really valued this pretty highly. But there's actually so much here for Harstem. Maybe Stephano's just going to die. I think he might have thrown away too much trying to pick off that northeast base earlier on. Because there's so many healthy forces here for Harstem. But he has one of his heroes actually back home. And, I mean, he's just using, like, mass turrets to defend this base, which is pretty crazy. But there's, like, a bunch of, like, winged giant things fighting against these water elementals. It just doesn't seem like it's working out too well just yet. But the absurd amount of static defense seems to be holding Harstem away, at least for now. Stephano brings back his Archmage. And he's still having some difficulty actually making this work. But he's actually starting to push Harstem back, and Harstem may have overextended on his attack. Oh, he's recalling this Archmage again. But that does mean that these towers will be left vulnerable, so it looks like Harstem's just going to start to blow through these turrets in the northwest. And that means Stephano's going to lose this base. Oh goodness, I didn't press any keys, so dirt. So, you can hear the French people are very excited. And these peons are moving across. So this is... I don't know. Wow. Oh, those things can they fly over the trees? Oh my god, that's so sick. So he's really trying to find somewhere to go in this game, but oh my god. I guess this is like been an educational experience for the first time that I've ever seen a game of this being played. But Stephano still has a very large force to the northeast. Harstem's pressing that center left camp, but oh geez, these trees are all withered. All right, I'm confident now that this. Well, he's getting in another fight. I feel like in this situation, Stephano just has so much main army, 2 water elementals as well. But one of them getting pretty weak. But he's got a lot of these actually, like, these cavaliers to fight in front for him. And the water elementals have been taken out, but I think Harstem just doesn't really have that much left. His last few spider crab things have died. Oh, what the hell? It's like a nidus or something right there. Just a bunch of more of these guys just kind of burrowed up from the ground. But I still think there's so much fear for Stephano. Yeah, and Harstem taps out. Stephano takes game number 1, I guess. I guess.